Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another exciting edition of Hilaal Live. My name is Luqman Shadrack, all the way from the Cape Town studios. Thanks for watching us on channel 347. Remember, you can also live stream on www.hilaal.tv. Now, today we talk about the AWQAF SA Imam Haroon commemorative youth rugby tournament. Now, this event is run in partnership with AWQAF SA, the Imam Haroon Foundation, Primrose Rugby Club, and various media partners as well. Now, we put together a video just to give you a bit more context of this exciting event. Have a look at this.
For the third year running, the AWQAF South Africa Imam Haroon Commemorative Youth Rugby Festival will be taking place at the Rugby Rugby Fields in Claremont, Cape Town. The Imam Haroon Foundation is hopeful that this tournament will emphasize the legacy of the great martyr Imam Abdullah Haroon.
I want you to always remember him and all those that were killed in apartheid. You might not know all the people, for the young people, but make it your understanding and make it your responsibility as the youth to learn about the past.
Some of the videos, photos will be loading on the website, and there's going to be a host of radio.
Hosted by the Primrose Rugby Club, the organizers feel that this tournament will instill values in the players for years to come.
Well, we've always wanted to give our kids, not just Primrose kids, but the community kids, a platform where they can showcase their talents. And there isn't a competition that allows community clubs a competitive environment or a competitive platform. So one of our passions and one of our goals really was to give that to the kids of the community. With the spirit of the Imam Haroon Foundation and the idea behind it, it's really what we want for our tournament. It's for our kids to live off that legacy. I mean, he did a lot for our community, for the struggle.
The festival has grown steadily over the last few years, and teams for this year include the likes of Vineyards, Amedias, Violets, SK Warmers and Rangers.
Die naam wat ons gebruik alleenlik is uniek. Want is iemand wat vir ons die pad makliker gemaak het om kinders by different skole nou te kry. Want daai spesifieke persoon wat deel is van die tournament het wat ons 'n naam nou in eer stel. Dis die mense wat gebeklei het. Dat ons almal die geleenthede kan hê om na jou top skole toe te kan gaan.
Playing in a tournament like this, meeting new guys, friends, playing together as friends, playing against friends, and just the humbleness of the tournament being not only winning, but being part of something like that. We've got this saying at our club, if not the best, amongst the best.
First of all, we are so grateful to be invited and to be part of this prestigious event. We wanted to give our kids exposure. And I think coming from a community like Bravo South, we want our kids to be in a system where they also have the same values as we have in Bravo South.
And that video, courtesy of AWQAF SA, and giving us a bit more context of the amazing event that's happening now. The school-going youth in primary and high school will partake in this tournament, and it's grown tremendously since 2019. To tell us more in studio, we first have the AWQAF SA Deputy CEO, Mickaeel Collier. Assalamu alaikum, Mickaeel.
Alaikum salam. Thank you for having us again.
My absolute pleasure. And then also representing Bright Insurance, Brother Siddiq Isaacs, who's the head of the Takaful Africa. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam, and thank you for having us here.
My absolute pleasure. So we've had a look at the video. The tournament's been going on since 2019. It's a very, very special tournament as well. The tournament obviously plays very important significance to commemorate, first of all, youth rugby, but also Heritage Month. That's very important, but also to commemorate Imam Haroon that was killed in detention during the brutal apartheid era as well. Mickaeel, would you like to give us some context around the tournament?
Sure. So AWQAF South Africa is a community endowment fund. We raise monies and donations from the community. It's then placed into a waqf, into a sovereign trust.
Right.
The capital remains intact and the return of the investment is then used for various downstream community programs and projects. One of those projects is youth development, community development, social cohesion. And we use the vehicle of sport to achieve that, because we are able to reach a host of youngsters. We are able to occupy them in their time and their efforts and their energies, and to cultivate leadership habits, good morals, good ethics, values, etc. in that. So we do it with the rugby tournament. We also do it with the cricket tournament.
Oh, nice.
Towards the end of December, middle to the end of December period. So what it's proven is that through sport as a vehicle, we are able to change the lives and impact the lives of so many. There are wonderful stories that come out from kids who, when you visit all over the Cape, they will say, oh, we're participating in the AWQAF rugby tournament or the AWQAF cricket tournament, etc. And particularly important for this year, as you've mentioned, it's Heritage Month. The month of September is also synonymous with the Imam Haroon commemoration, because he died on the 27th of September in detention at the hands of the apartheid government. But something very of importance for us is that Imam Abdullah Haroon was a community activist. He was an Imam. He was a family member. He was an icon within the community. He promoted non-racialism. He was one of the few Imams who went into the black townships at during the darkest days of apartheid, and he engaged with the communities, and he really saw no color. And added to that, he was also an avid sportsman. Right? He loved rugby. He loved cricket. In actual fact, he was instrumental in the formation of Primrose Cricket and Rugby Club, and where it is located today, because he was a visionary, and he saw that our communities were being forced from the District 6 and Bullcub areas onto the Cape Flats. And he said, guys, we need to move and let's look at alternative places for us to occupy. And he found the space where Primrose Cricket is currently located and where the tournament is taking place. So there's that significance with that as well. But in the times that we live in, it's our responsibility and our duty to inculcate values of social cohesion, of togetherness, of community building, but also while we're doing that is to celebrate the icons that we have.
Of course.
At the launch, I mentioned to some of the kids that our legacy is a very proud legacy. Successive colonial rule and apartheid always subjugated the community. It pushed us down. It made us feel inferior. That was the system that was designed to impact people on the Cape Flats and in other parts of the country, that we are second-grade citizens. But we stand on the shoulders of icons. We stand on the shoulders of people who were enslaved, taken, royalty, leaders, community leaders, taken away from their families, brought to the shores of South Africa, but yet impacted on society. Members, people like Twanguru, and within our current context, Imam Abdullah Haroon, who utilized the abilities to impact and grow society. So therefore, this gives a spirit of understanding, historical context, and also an identity of where our kids can stand on the shoulders of great
I think it's a great initiative
leaders
as well, and I'm sure the kids are very excited to be part of this. Brother Sadiq, as part of Bright Insurance and the Takaful Africa as well, very important that a company like yours gets involved from a CSI perspective.
Absolutely, and you know, when one thinks back in terms of the historical part of all of this, as Mickaeel has just explained to us, then from our side, you know, it's a proud moment for us to be part of this kind of establishment and being able to impact the lives of people at grassroots level is critical and important. And it's and I think one needs to understand that this is not about branding. This is about giving back to the community and supporting the community. And the historical value of all of that builds an ecosystem for the future that says that we have to contribute where these types of things create aspirations for other people. And I think Mickaeel touched beautifully on the fact of how it leads into leadership, the social cohesion part.
Yes.
All of those things are critical, and that's what we thrive on. That is what our younger generation thrive on, and we have that opportunity to contribute towards that and to be part of that and to be proud of what our future generations will produce into the future. So yes, for us it's a proud moment to be part of this whole establishment and to be able to know that we can make a contribution from a company perspective, and hopefully, you know, this empowerment allows others to also contribute.
Inshallah.
Because, you know, when others see the contribution from corporate South Africa, then, you know, it should lend itself to be able to say more people need to contribute to this. There's good reason, I mean, why it sits under the legacy of Imam Haroon, and certainly from a Bright perspective, we're extremely proud to be part of that kind of legacy, because we know where we come from and we know where we're heading to into the future.
Absolutely.
So really a proud moment for us to be part of this, yes.
Alhamdulillah. We're chatting to AWQAF SA and Bright Insurance about the AWQAF SA Imam Haroon commemorative youth rugby tournament. Started already. We're going to give you a bit more details after the break and give you details on how you can also go on and support these amazing youngsters and be part of this initiative as well. You are still watching Hilaal Live. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Hilaal Live, all the way from the Cape Town studios. We're chatting about the AWQAF SA Imam Haroon commemorative youth rugby tournament. And in studio from AWQAF SA, Deputy CEO Mickaeel Collier, and from Bright Insurance, Brother Siddiq Isaacs, who heads up the Takaful Africa Fund. Jazakallah so much, brothers, for coming in. Mickaeel, the tournament I know had started already. Since 2019, have you increased in teams? Has it progressed?
Yeah, so in the inaugural year, there were a few teams. Okay. It's grown, alhamdulillah, to about between 43 and 45 teams. Primary school runs on one weekend, right, and then the high school teams were run on another weekend. Unfortunately, last week the heavy rains that we experienced washed the fields out. So the competition concludes this weekend.
Okay.
With the finals of the primary school as well as the high school that's going to take place at the Primrose Field.
Okay.
In Lock Road in Kenilworth, just opposite the Kenilworth Centre. So
brilliant.
We invite the community to come and support the young aspirant Springbok players.
Inshallah. Yeah, I tell you what, it's always such a pleasure watching youngsters play on the field as well, watching their parents and grandparents come through as well. Do some of these youngsters over the years, have they gone in to play for other clubs?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, there were about 45 different teams who are participating. The good statistics from this, the rugby and the cricket tournaments, is that some players go on to play provincials.
Brilliant.
And some of them have even made, the young South African national teams.
Lovely.
So their foundations are always within the community structures. And I think that's very proud for us to see them excel. But more importantly, it's also those life lessons and the unbreakable bonds that they make
absolutely
with other players of other teams.
Because if you look at the likes of the Bakers tournament that we've had for all the years in cricket, and so many of our South African, the Proteas team, have come from that. So inshallah, may this tournament have those aspirations as well, inshallah. Brother Siddiq, from a corporate side as well, I would imagine that these are just one of the few projects that you get involved in. Are there other projects that you've undertaken over the years, and are there future projects that you're looking at investing in as well?
Yeah, sure. So we've been involved with a number of other projects over the years, and certainly the ones that stand out for us is where we can provide empowerment.
Okay.
We've been involved with a group of people where we support them in terms of empowering others, training, specific training programs where they can train people to start their own little businesses, become self-sustaining and fully empowered. We just this week, the past week, we were involved in part of the rugby again. We did some rugby quizzes on the Voice of the Cape, and one of the beneficiaries of that quiz, the rugby quiz, was AWQAF South Africa in terms of the cataract project. And as you know, there's thousands of people who suffer from cataracts and as their eyesight affected. And it makes such a difference in somebody's life when you are able to see better or see completely. And so we certainly have played a part in that as well, and will continue to play a part in that going forward into the future. And then we look at youth programs and things like that in terms of how can we help youth in South Africa as a whole? Because, you know, it's not just restricted to certain pockets.
Of course.
One has got to look across the communities. How can you support various parts of the community? And so we will certainly continue to do that into the future. And this type of situation is ideal, where we can look at some of the disadvantaged communities in terms of bringing them into sport. I think sport is a unifying factor.
Absolutely.
And besides the unifying factor, it leads to people's aspirations, it leads to empowerment, and it gives people opportunity into the future. And that's what we would like to be part of, because, you know, from the Takaful side, if I may just mention, you know, Takaful in itself is what we call a shared responsibility. And it's not just about a business, it's about sharing with the community across the board. And that sharing leads to empowerment, leads to a better community, and leads to a community that has a future. And so we want to play a part in that, in terms of helping and helping to create futures for other people as well. And so, yes, we will certainly continue to play a part in future initiatives of this nature.
Brilliant. Always a pleasure for corporate to be part of this as well. And I think it sets the tone for others to get involved in the future as well, inshallah. Mickaeel, the tournament itself, so this weekend, are we hoping that the fields are not rained out? We've had some rainfall.
Sure. Inshallah, hopefully, the Primrose rugby team is hard at work to ensure that the games go ahead and that we have a successful conclusion to the tournament. So inshallah, let's hope and see it. As I said, it takes place the Saturday and Sunday. And we should conclude by Sunday afternoon.
Inshallah. Some of the other projects, very quickly before we round up, that AWQAF is currently working on?
It's a very difficult.
Are there too many to mention?
Within a short period of time. But essentially, we like to work in, I would say, 5 key areas. The one being our core business, which is WAQF development, is to grow the WAQF fund so that we have a sustainable fund, a sovereign fund for the community that enables us to fund the various downstream community projects. Last year alone, we funded about 196 different organizations. That's excluding our existing projects that we do, like the cataracts removals, the maths and science program that we've got. I think we've got about 70,000 recipients on the maths matriculation program thus far. So that impact is phenomenal, where we took through that initiative a student who was getting 18% in a rural area to ending up getting 80-odd% at the end of the year, and then getting a bursary to go to UCT. So that's very impactful. On the sports side as well, we driving kids to a particular purpose so that they enjoy themselves, but they also know that there's a responsibility. So some of the type of sporting initiatives we paired up, and Bright has now sponsored a few of the cataract removal operations. So the kids have an investment in that as well, where they also, through their efforts, their exertion, they are contributing to a cataract removal. Thus far, I think we've done about close to 10 or 11,000 cataracts with our supporting partners. The tournaments are free. The cataract operation is zero cost to the patient, and so many other initiatives like the balls that we do. I think we've sunk about close to 70 balls across the country. So and that's beside the microfinance programs that we've got, the skills development, community development initiatives, etc. So there's a whole host of initiatives that AWQAF is part of, bearing in mind that the sustainability of the WACA fund allows us to have income on an annual basis to continue supporting various community downstream projects. Other institutions, we encourage them also to establish their WACAF, their endowment fund, because the nature of our community institutions is that they're income depleting.
Absolutely.
So you get 100 Rand, and the initiative is that, or the need is to spend that 100 Rand immediately, right? But in month 2, you're going to need that 100 Rand again.
Absolutely.
Whereas the WACAF system, which is a prophetic system, part of the Islamic social finance structure, is meant to be long-lasting, it's meant to be resilient, it's meant to act as an economic shock absorber, and it's meant to allow us to have these types of projects that we are able to put on for communities.
So well done to AWQAF and the team. It's always great having you in studio, you know, hearing about all the wonderful work that you do, and may all your future projects grow from strength to strength, inshallah.
So much.
And Jazakallah to Bright Insurance for being part of this initiative and all the other initiatives that you get involved in. And we look forward to speaking to you in the near future, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Jazakallah
for having
really
us.
appreciate it. So do go out and support the rugby tournament. It's the AWQAF SA Imam Haroon commemorative youth rugby tournament happening this weekend, inshallah. And I'm sure the youngsters will be most grateful for your support as well. From the Cape Town team, we now break for Maghrib Salah from Makkah, and then afterwards our program continues, inshallah. From Sohail Barnes and myself, Luqman Shadrack, have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum.